So you see it there, the U.S. launching airstrikes on Iran for a third straight night. This coming only hours after President Trump reinstates a naval blockade of Iranian ports. The commander-in-chief saying American forces are keeping up the pressure on the Iranian regime.
So we're doing another very major attack tonight. They want to make a deal. They came back. We made a deal 2 days ago, and they want to make a deal. They've been negotiating for 47 years, but nobody's ever hit them militarily. We're hitting them very hard.
Mike Tobin joining us live with the latest on this from Tel Aviv, Israel. Mike, good morning to you.
Good morning, Bill. In less than a working day from now, the U.S. blockade of the Strait of Hormuz goes into effect. In the final hours, Iran has been firing a commercial shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. The Dutch shipper Stolt Tanker confirms that one of their tanker ships, christened the Stolt Magnesium, flagged out of Liberia, that was hit. That started a fire in the engine room. When we see these tankers that are getting hit, they keep getting hit in the engine room, and it shows some precision on behalf of the Iranians and their ability to fire on these ships. The crew is accounted for. In the case of the United Arab Emirates, they had 2 tankers hit. 1 crew member then was killed. Strikes on commercial shipping prompted the U.S. to launch strikes. We've got video of a fire burning on Kish Island in the Strait after U.S. strikes. But the U.S. hit a number of targets up and down the coast of Iran. In the streets of Iran, at least what people are able to say in public, the message is still defiance.
Iran should close the strait so that Israel and the United States are put in their place and know that Iran is powerful, stands by its strength, and stands by its faith.
So that is 3 consecutive nights of strikes inside Iran. The U.S. has been hitting coastal defense systems, missile and drone launching sites, and what's left of the structures that enable what's left of Iran's Navy to fire and menace shipping in the Strait. Bill?
Mike Tobin live in Tel Aviv, Israel. Mike, thank you.
Well, a new milestone for the U.S. military. Forces have now used sea drones in combat operations for the first time. CENTCOM releasing this video of the drones in action. They were used in an attack that targeted Iran's Bandar Abbas naval base. CENTCOM says 3 unmanned boats attacked a submarine and ship repair facility. Those strikes degrading Iran's ability to continue attacking commercial shipping in the Strait of Hormuz.
And for more on this, we are now joined by Brent Sadler, Heritage Center for National Security and former Navy captain. Brent, as always, great to see you.
Good morning.
So we're going to be reinstating that naval blockade at 4 p.m. Eastern time today. Knowing the way Iran likes to play games during negotiations, do you think it was a mistake that the U.S. ever dropped that blockade in the first place?
Well, to be clear, once Secretary Bessent revoked the waivers, the blockade's been back on because no money, no petroleum. Now you've got the physical blockade, which again the Navy was always there, and so at least the dark fleet shipping was always being interdicted. So it's a distinction without a difference. Was it a mistake? I mean, if there was a potential way of actually getting a deal with the Iranians that would have prevented further bloodshed and maybe perhaps still provide an opening for the Iranian people to take back their government, it was a risk worth taking. But clearly, you got to keep the military operations going while the talks continue. Cannot be conditional. They got to go in parallel.
Yeah.
So there's the military operation, then there is the economic portion of this. The Iranian regime now sort of haggling publicly with President Trump about fees in the Strait. Take a look at this from the foreign minister in Iran. He writes, POTUS is absolutely right. Whoever provides secure and safe passage of commercial vessels through the Strait should be compensated for this service. Iran has always been the guardian of the Strait and will remain so forever. 20% is, of course, too much. We will be fair.
Well, the Iranians are guardians of nothing, and the U.S. possibly is the guardian of the Gulf. Certainly, it looks that way. What the Iranians are doing is kind of like the mafia. They're saying, pay us or bad things will happen to your ship. It's like, nice ship, be ashamed if something happens unless you pay us. That's illegal. That's impacting, infringing on freedom of navigation. What President Trump has proposed is, look, we've got a military presence there. We are providing protection. If you want to be a part of it, you need to help us to sustain that, pay us. It's very different, and that's legal. It's much like a reflection of what we did in 1980s with Operation Praying Mantis, where Kuwait reflagged to U.S. ships so that we could escort their tankers through during the Iran-Iraq war, the so-called tanker wars. So
it's a key distinction.
A very key distinction. Legal, U.S., illegal Iran.
So the U.S. keeps bombing Iranian military assets all along the Strait of Hormuz, foreseeably to try to degrade their ability to mess with these ships. Yes. But they're still able to get these missiles off every day. Is it unrealistic to hope that we're going to be able to take out every missile launcher they have, every drone they have? Is that even possible?
Probably not perfectly, no. But certainly their ability to coordinate attacks more effectively, you can actually degrade that still further. And that's why going after radar sites, I would say there's a couple interesting observations. One, the type of damage that we're seeing indicates a larger type of munition, say a cruise missile, or even at one point it looked like they were using anti-ship ballistic missiles, things that the Iranians have given to the Houthis, which is another issue to watch. But the fact that they're doing that indicates it's a lot more gettable in a military sense. Eventually they're going to have not much left. They're going to have to be basically just taking luck shots. And it's another reason why these attacks have to continue and persist. And perhaps the Iranians can be given an exit and say, hey, if your forces exit to the north, go back home, back to Tehran, you won't get attacked. But if you stay there, they need to be degraded and attacked as the opportunity avails.
So to go back for a moment to the naval blockade that will get, officially reimposed this afternoon, you said there's a distinction without a difference. The U.S. Fifth Fleet has been operational in the region throughout it all. Is there any increased risk to U.S. service members that will come with this 4 o'clock reinstatement tonight?
Not other than the fact that the Iranians are already attacking our bases with the remaining of their military forces. One missile is still lethal if it gets through. So the danger is always there. So prayers to our soldiers, sailors, and airmen that are there right now, holding the front lines. Is it going to be mitigated? Yes. I don't think it's going to see a change and an uptick of more danger. Now, if we start doing boardings, seizing ships, that always has a higher level of risk. And there seems to have been a little bit of a lull on that, maybe because it wasn't as necessary. But now, perhaps, we're going to pick that back up. There may be resistance on these ships. That's a different type of danger.
Right.
It's interesting, every time the hostilities restart again, Iran lashes out at their neighbors, knowing they basically can't really touch the U.S. We swat their missiles down like flies, but they attack Kuwait, Bahrain, the UAE. Brent Sadler, as always, great to see you.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.